special envoy for the Shield of the Americas, Kristi Noem, was with Maria here yesterday, sharing that China has been orchestrating a highly coordinated travel agency-style operation designed to funnel Chinese nationals across U.S. borders. Here she is with Maria yesterday. Watch.
We saw very coordinated attacks of people coming into this country from China that were facilitated not just through the southern border, but through the northern border as well. Countries that I have worked with in Latin and South America have told us how they had Chinese operations set up for people to fly into their countries, almost like a travel agency would be. They would show up, be handed certain documents, a backpack, get on a bus, and then bust right up over our southern border. So it was a very coordinated facilitation of bringing in people that were Chinese nationalists into the United States. And overwhelmingly, the testimonies have been that they were the same age individuals, young, mainly men, some females, but very much a coordinated attempt to get individuals into our country to change our country.
Joining me now is Michigan Congressman John Molnar. He chairs the House China Select Committee. Congressman, I want to get your thoughts on what you just heard from the former secretary about what the Chinese are doing and how they're doing it.
Well, first of all, this shouldn't be surprising because we know China has been partnering with the drug cartels in Mexico and actually giving the precursors of fentanyl that has come across our southern borders. And President Trump rightly pushed back on that and continues to do that. But this is a concern, and that's why it's so important to have secure borders, to know who's coming across your border. And that's something that it's important to highlight and to recognize. Secure borders are in America's interest.
Well, certainly, as we talk about the concerns, whether the Chinese are trying to buy U.S. farmland near military sites or just simply spying on U.S. citizens and technology, it's a big issue with China. And obviously, there's some new news with China that I wanted to get your take on here, because they say that they've arrested an American citizen on suspicion of espionage and endangering national security. So this is Min Zhen. He's been placed under criminal detention by Chinese authorities. Min reportedly was invited to the country by a Chinese university, and he also has a history of Myanmar activism, Congressman. Now, the Trump administration's been pushing for the release of Christian pastor Ezra Zhen and Hong Kong entrepreneur Jimmy Lai, but there's been no success here. What do you think the detention and this news story of this U.S. citizen in China really does to our relationship with them, in particular on the heels of the president and several cabinet officials going to Beijing just a few weeks ago?
Well, I give the president a lot of credit for bringing up these important human rights concerns and advocating for the release of these people unjustly detained. And in the case of this, is an American citizen who, he headed up a think tank and basically was just simply highlighting information that the Chinese Communist Party didn't like. And so it really illustrates how their national security laws can be weaponized against Americans and against others and be unjustly imprisoned. And they lured him to come to China under pretenses of participating in an academic exercise, and he's now in prison. And so I think it's important that we speak clearly that this is not acceptable for American citizens, but also highlight the threat to all Americans and people of other countries when they do business with China, travel to China. You are at risk because they can deem anything you do, say that they don't like, as threatening their national security and saying it's espionage.
Certainly. And I think that obviously the administration's eyes are wide open with those discussions and, of course, this new news. The president, though, this morning, he actually doubled down on his demand for Congress to tie the Save America Act to new FISA legislation. He posted on Truth Social, this was earlier today. Here's what he wrote. I want to read this to you. For the good of the nation and the people of our country, I will not approve FISA without the Save America Act going along with it. Not complicated, actually. The Republicans fell into a trap. Congressman, the House passed the Save America Act, but Leader Thune told Maria there's not the votes there in the upper chamber. Where are we now?
Well, I think you're right. I think in the House we can pass the Save America Act. We have. We passed FISA. I think it's incumbent on the Senate to continue to make the case. When we talk about the Save America Act, we're basically saying we think that we should know who's voting in our elections, and people should be American citizens, and there should be a photo ID. It's very simple and straightforward. And I think as the American people fully understand what this is, they will be advocating for this as well. And I think the president's absolutely right. This is vital for the integrity of our elections. And so it's important that we pass FISA, that we keep our homeland safe. It's also important to protect the integrity of our elections.
Before you go, Congressman, real quick, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth meeting with top Republicans on the Hill yesterday, and he talked about the potential of a reconciliation 3.0 package. Now, President Trump wants Congress to pass additional defense spending. That brings the Pentagon's budget to $1.5 trillion. And then Capitol Hill, just about 2 weeks away from the recess for August. You know, the Republicans are now saying, you and your party, the Democrats, are going to keep trying to interfere with the president's agenda. What do you think happens? Because you do sit on appropriations.
Yeah, I think our Appropriations Committee is going to take up our defense subcommittee bill, and we are going to pass that out of committee. I think you'll find that it'll be simply Republican votes only because the Democrats are simply being obstructionists. They do not want to help anything get done because they don't want to give President Trump credit for anything. And so I think we'll have to go alone on our appropriations, but we want to strengthen our defense industrial base. We know that the world isn't getting any safer, and it's time that the Democrats stop playing politics with our national security and our national defense.
All right. Well, Congressman John Molnar, certainly a lot is happening right now, and we're going to be watching all of it from our vantage point here. Thank you, sir, for being with us this morning.
Thank you, Cheryl.
All right, Congressman. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Stay with us.